A new Attorney General, 2 ministers, and a State Minister were sworn in today as part of the new Andrew Holness-led cabinet. At this morning's virtual ceremony, the Prime Minister explained that the cabinet reshuffle is a critical part of the government's focus on legislative reform and improving governance. Krista Campbell has our story.
Back in the fold, Floyd Green, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister. Marlene Malahoo Ford transferred from Attorney General to a new ministry, Legal and Constitutional Affairs. Franklin Witter, State Minister for Agriculture and Fisheries. And the new Attorney General, Dr. Derek McCoy, all sworn in on Tuesday at a virtual ceremony held at King's House.
I, Derek Vincent McCoy,
do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Jamaica.
That I will uphold and defend the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica.
And that I will conscientiously and impartially discharge my responsibility.
The ink barely dry on their oaths of allegiance and office before Prime Minister Andrew Holness made it clear that
so there will be more changes to come to the cabinet. Right now, we have focused on getting the government's legislative agenda settled. Like any organization, you have to move your staff around. You have to place people in positions that suit their competencies. And you have to pay attention to what the public that you serve is saying.
And now he insists he has a, quote, stable and solid government, end quote, and has addressed some areas of government performance which have been publicly criticized in recent time. He says the new Attorney General has the critical task to address the legislation backlog by helping to make it easier to develop, review, and pass laws in the country. And as Jamaica moves into its 60th year of independence with louder calls to follow Barbados' lead and get rid of the monarch as head of state, he explained the main purpose of creating the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
The conversation has already begun about our status as a constitutional monarchy and the change that we would all like to see. But there is a process to achieving that, and we want to make sure that we order all our steps appropriately. And you will have the task of guiding that from the executive perspective.
With the National Identification System, NIDS, also high on the government's agenda, Mr. Holness revealed former Agriculture Minister Floyd Green will be leading that charge.
I had the opportunity to tour the production facility last week, and they're almost ready to go. But it needs that kind of guidance. It needs dedicated ministerial attention to ensure that Jamaicans do come on board and participate fully in the National Identification System.
He says Mr. Green will also be responsible for setting up the National Identification Authority, which will oversee the operation of NIDS. And as the country moves out of the pandemic, Prime Minister Holness wants renewed focus on agriculture to ensure the country is able to feed itself. And he says as State Minister, Franklin Witter is the man for the job. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Now, reactions have been pouring in over the Prime Minister's reshuffled cabinet. Kalisha Williams was at Gordon House today where she spoke with some of the ministers who were impacted.
News of the cabinet reshuffle came Monday night. Social media went into a frenzy, with persons urging the Prime Minister to again shuffle the deck. Hours after the official swearing in, we caught up with some of the members of the revamped cabinet at Gordon House. First up, Robert Montague, who's been moved from the Transport Ministry to the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
In going to MEGJEC, it frees me to do new things and to break new grounds. It also frees me to do some more party work.
Mr. Montague's reassignment came after controversy in the Transport Ministry, an issue social commentators argue speaks to the lack of accountability within the government.
Accountability in this government is always upfront, and most of the statutory organizations in this country that treat with transparency and accountability in government was formed and pushed by the Jamaica Labour Party.
And with Montague out, former Minister of Investment and Commerce Audley Shaw has stepped in. What would you say to persons who said you should have stepped aside?
Well, I think the important person to ask that is the Prime Minister, not me. But experience is also not a useless thing. So I think the new cabinet is a good mixture of experience and younger people.
The new cabinet also saw former Agriculture Minister Floyd Green making a comeback months after he was caught on camera parading at a restaurant during a no-movement day.
I am very grateful to be back. I appreciate the opportunity to serve at the highest level, and having gotten the opportunity, I had always hoped that I would get another opportunity. And I understand that there's going to be a divergence of views on the point. I know that there's still a number of people who, as I had said before, are disappointed in my actions. I think I just have to work harder. I think I just have to work harder to regain their trust.
While many have been calling for his return, concerns that his assignment to the office of the Prime Minister as Minister without portfolio is a slap in the face of many Jamaicans. So was he assigned a new role too soon?
Nobody saw it coming. I absolutely didn't know the Prime Minister's timing. But again, I am humbled by the opportunity. And, it's something that I have prayed about a lot. And, I think, the Lord thought it's the best time.
As for the new Agriculture Minister, Pernell Charles Jr.,
wherever I'm asked to serve, where I feel I can serve properly, I feel it's an honor to do so. There are a lot of linkages between climate change and agriculture. Climate resilience, climate smart agriculture, sustainable development. So I bring to this agriculture and fisheries portfolio all of the wealth of experience from climate change, from environment.
So while there are concerns from some Jamaicans that the reshuffling of the cabinet is not enough, it's left to be seen whether it will reap real rewards. Reporting from Gordon House, I'm Kalisha Williams for TVJ News.